welcome to another awesome episode of Ask the Culpeppers.
We're the Culpeppers.
We're not licensed counselors. We're just a loving couple that's got kids, that done been through some stuff, that enjoy life, and we just, that's kind of what we do, right?
And we like to share and engage with our friends and community. So that's what we're doing today.
That's right. And be sure to follow us on social media, ladies and gentlemen, at the links that you see below. And then also, if you have a question for Ask the Culpeppers, you can send us an email on the screen. That you see on the screen. Just send us an email.
Yeah.
And we'll try to do the best we can to answer it.
So do you want to introduce our friends today? Because we do have some friends with us.
Yeah, it's more than us here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we will have them to introduce themselves so that I don't mess it up. And we will start to our left.
With Hanging with the Coopers. I'm sure now.
The Coopers like hanging with the Coopers, right? Thank y'all for being on the show. And to our right over here,
The McCalls.
Frankie McCall.
oh, we got that part. Thank y'all. That's a shame our guests got to come and show us.
Help us, guess.
Perfect together.
Anointed together, but at first we thought it was rented. Because I forgot. I thought it was wanted. Wanted, rented.
And we got
Powerful together.
all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. Ms. Culpepper, what do we got today? Get us with it.
All right, so we've got a question. Now,
All right.
this one is going to be a one-question episode because this question is pretty loaded. And so it reads, okay, so I've been struggling with depression, and maybe this is coming from that. I don't know. But I need an ear or an eye, to listen, and maybe give some pointers. So my husband plays computer games. He would play every day if I let him. I literally have to make the schedule and say he can only play Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and either Saturday or Sunday. He can play 4 days a week, and then maybe watch a movie or something 3 days a week. TMI, I know. Maybe, but we don't kiss when he gets home from work. We barely hug, and he never holds my hand. All of this bothers me. Ooh. When he's on this game, I can barely socialize or show him stuff because he's in the middle of something. This bothers me. I feel like our connection is fading, and I've told him that over and over again, but still nothing. He usually plays the game from 7 to 11 at night. We started this routine because he was playing every day. I just don't know what to do. You might not even be able to help me, but I figured I would get advice from you because of your motivation. I just want to have a strong connection like we used to. I struggled with his alcoholism for 4 years, and we have overcome that bad situation. Now it's this game. I feel we have lost so much of us time. And now we have 4 kids, and it's hard enough to find time for each other. We never get a break from our kids, so we have them 24/7. Is there any advice you can give on this situation? I feel lonely all the time. And like the game comes before me, and now I've entered a depression stage because I'm stuck in my emotions and in my own head. Kind regards.
So what's this question? This desperate?
So this question we are titling Desperate Wives Gaming Gone Wild. So what do you think?
This is I truly believe that this is an issue that can plague every marriage. No matter where you're from, no matter what walk of life, no matter what country, what state you live in, this is something that can plague marriage, period. Too much of something.
Of anything, really.
Now, in this particular case, it's gaming has been identified as the catalyst that has brought about these particular feelings. And so this is something that really has to be dealt with within the marriage, and this is a real serious problem.
A real serious issue.
You know, Derek, I was thinking, she started off talking about depression, and it's interesting because May is Mental Health Awareness
That
Month.
is true.
And so I just kind of want to lead with that needs to be dealt with.
That's right.
And it is okay to seek counseling if you're a person of faith, perhaps faith-based counseling, but definitely don't ignore your feelings. If you feel like you're depressed, that is valuable. It should be dealt with, and there is no shame or stigma attached to that.
That's right.
Additionally, I think it's important to note that your husband's issue is probably not the only thing that's contributing to that.
Absolutely.
And so I would encourage you to seek some help.
Absolutely, and that's really great, Sharice. I think that's the tricky part, and we always know that as working and sometimes super busy wives and mothers, especially once you have more than a half a child, it does become very daunting and overwhelming, and oftentimes we as women make our health, both mental, physical, emotional, the very last thing on a very long to-do list, which is why for women, we lead the categories for death related to heart disease.
Yes.
Because we do not take care of ourselves. And so, Sharice, you're absolutely right. Priority one is to get the medical and emotional help that you need and to do it right away.
One thing that I would like to, I wonder is how is she as far as whenever he's doing this gaming from 7 to 11, what is she doing in the meantime? Is she so focused on the family, or is she giving time to herself? You know,
That's
just
right.
kind of relaxing, or is she reading a book, watching a movie or something?
Well, she has 4 kids, but 7 o'clock is not bedtime for most kids. So my best guess would be between 7 and maybe 9. She's probably focused on the matters of the home.
And
Right.
that's part of one of the things that's interesting when we looked at love languages in marriage. I found it interesting that like the top 3, the number 3 thing that husbands really need from their wives are wives to take an interest in the husband's hobbies. And so what's interesting to me is, which may take time, but if this is something that's important to your husband and something that is productive and healthy, this may be something that he may need you to engage in a positive way with him to help as you set those parameters. And like Kevin said, you know, perhaps, you know, that somewhere in that schedule, you need an hour to be able to have him in charge of the kids, and maybe you go take a hot bath or take a walk in the neighborhood. I would say leave, because our kids bust in the bathroom when I'm in there for some reason. So I would say just walk out and, you know, put him in charge for an hour or so, because if you're not taking that time, also that one-on-one quiet time, it's going to make any issue worse.
You know,
Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
I got a question. I'm coming a little different. Well, have you expressed that this was a problem in the marriage? Because sometimes we have pet peeves that we don't let the other one know about until it blow up. Also, quit tipping around that man. Let him know what's going on. Because a lot of time, as wives, y'all tip around us, keep from messing with our ego. Was he playing this game when y'all got married? What will happen now is you losing your identity. You was the whole person before you met him, and he was a whole person. He's still doing some of the things he liked before he got married. What are you doing since you got married? I know you're taking care of the household, but like Ms. Culpepper said, just leave the house sometime. Just leave him with him. And then, you know, and that should solve some of it, because he feel like he been to work and he's going to come in and just sit down on you. No, you just get up and just leave sometimes, and that'll fix some of it.
That's so hard. That's so hard.
I'm wondering with them computer games, you know, it kind of creates a what is it, dopamine?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
from
Yeah,
watching them all
yeah.
the time, and it's almost like
Very stimulating.
if you go a day or 2 without doing it, it's like, I gotta get on this game.
It's withdrawal.
Exactly.
It's withdrawal.
And so, you know, and I guess, and in my mind, I'm thinking that this gaming would almost be equivalent to excessive golfing, excessive hunting, anything. A lot of, because playing computer games is not a bad thing. It's
Right.
not a crime.
Right.
But however, too much of it, when there is need, and too much of that, you know, the needs may not be met, which is what I'm getting here, that her needs and what she needs help is not being met because the want of wanting to play a game or wanting to do something seems to be taking more time than it should. Because there's one thing we all got in common, and there's 24 hours a day.
That's it.
The difference is what we do with those
Yes.
24 hours, when we start and when we finish them, because at some point we got to go to sleep. But what we do with those times. Because I'm gonna, you know, anybody got another comment?
Well, I was
Sure,
just
yeah.
thinking, 4 times a day. I mean, 4 times a week, 4 hours a day. If my math serves me correctly, that's 16 hours in a week. That's a lot of hours.
That's a lot of hours.
That's a lot of. That's
We don't
almost a
even let our
part-time
kids
job.
watch TV during the week, and that's kind of what I was thinking. Like our school age children, we don't allow to have that much screen time.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting to me because our daughter gets time. The kids get time on the weekend. So Friday night, Saturday, okay, that's your free time. But through the week, our focus is home, schoolwork,
Right.
self-care, caring for one another, exercise,
Service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's different, but I do want to say kudos to you all for overcoming the alcoholism.
Absolutely.
I think I would definitely want to bring that to the space
Yes.
because I think one of the things we also have to remember is to give each other a little grace because there's always something worse that we could be doing, and that's not to say what we're doing is great. But to give each other a little credit for the things that we are doing that could be something 1,000 times worse.
And that's what I was thinking. Maybe he was using the gaming as a replacement of
Mm-hmm.
the alcoholism. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that may be a replacement of, from drinking the alcohol.
It's
That could be
possible.
a possible.
Yeah.
That makes
So,
Well, I have a testimony because we have also been through something like this. There was 2 things that I had to deal with early on in the marriage. And the first one was when we first got married and our son was little, I used to like radio control cars. And of course, if you deal with those, they can get very expensive.
very
So
expensive.
we used to go to the track and race these cars where they had a store right there on site where you could go buy. You break
God
a
forbid
wheel,
you have to leave
you
to go
break
to
a
the store.
shock,
Yeah.
or a motor. If you want to
$100,
upgrade it, get it
$200,
faster because somebody done
$500.
beat you, and you just go in there and swipe that card and spend money. And so I found myself hanging out over there a
It's
lot
hard.
because
It's hard.
I'm trying to, make the car faster and all of this old kind of stuff. And I was actually spending a lot of time over there. And also was spending money and not considering the bills or paying them on time and those kind of things because I was spending excess money and spending time over there that I shouldn't have been. Now, was it a crime? No. It was something good. Actually, I thought because I was with my son and he was little, but I did not manage the time properly nor the finances properly, and it got us in a bad spot because I felt like you just don't want me to go over there. But no, she was saying no, you need to pay this bill on time and you need to spend more time in heaven. So we had 2 different perspectives on it.
Yeah. And my thing was, and really what was interesting is during that time we were having trouble with our actual real car that we drive, and we weren't able to. I wasn't able to pay the money to get that car fixed because we had spent $400 on a play card.
Oh,
And so it really did something
That's a
hard
car
to my
note.
heart. I know. They were really expensive. I'm talking
Yeah,
$400.
those things get
Wow.
expensive. The tires, the wheels, the shocks, just like a regular car,
Wow.
it can get hundreds
But
of
we
dollars.
couldn't drive that to work because
I
it's
agree.
only this big.
I agree. have y'all ever dealt with anything like that, or in a situation where you can
Well,
think back to where?
I remember yesterday, Saturday, I was playing on my iPad with GarageBand,
Oh,
and I'm I'm trying to figure out a way to add a cassette tape with music and all of this. I had all type of electronics, and I had just watched a movie with Charnel, so it's like, all right, I'll give you time. I watched the movie, and the whole time I'm
you
thinking.
really didn't watch it.
The whole time I'm thinking, all right,
The whole time you're thinking about GarageBand.
yeah, go back to my lab
she's
so I can play on this GarageBand.
Here's the lab.
But I mean, at the same time, it's where I'm trying to give you time so I understand what he's, what the guy is probably saying. I want to do this, so I can relate, to that.
And maybe they can do things together as a
Yes.
family outing, try to, figure out
Balance
some,
it.
Yeah, so my solution was, well, why don't you come into the bedroom and we can do the GarageBand and you can watch me and stuff like that instead of us watching another movie.
Let me ask this: do husbands think it's fun for wives to watch you do things? Because they would say that to me a lot. Like, you should come and watch me. You will love it. Like, I'm just wondering if y'all in your mind think it's fun for us to watch you. Like, yeah,
Okay.
I watch you. Get to watch
Thank
you
you very much.
tinkers.
Thank
so
you.
excited about that.
well, maybe you're not interested in
Okay,
it.
thank you. That's where I was going.
Yes.
When I had my old vehicles I used to work on,
Yes. Oh, yes. That was
I
my second
used
thing.
to absolutely love it when Keisha would come outside a few times. When Keisha would come outside and say, "What are you doing under there? How does this work right here?
Yes.
What are you doing?" Oh, that just,
Yes.
that just did
But
it.
then
when
you
she
could
was-
explain it.
Yeah, yeah. So then I can tell you, because I felt like she was interested in something I was interested in.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, when I would come, "What you doing?" and just say, "That show look good out there, boy. You don't come a long way on that old thing." Something like that. And it just really, just made me feel like, wow, just really doing something.
Yes.
Really doing something.
Yeah, but 4 hours.
It was long.
It was
Oh,
longer than
4
that.
days.
Because Derek
Oh.
would be out and he wouldn't sleep. So I get it.
So,
So what did you do to come back there? So what happened? What stopped you?
okay.
I
So
think
this
this
is
is
finna
gonna be
lead.
interesting.
This is finna lead into
It's gonna be
my
interesting.
second confession. We've had what, 4 old antique cars that we've either restored and sold, right? Since we've been married.
So it's a business.
That was a period of time. It's a period of time. What I did was I used to work on these cars a lot. I used to work on them and spend a lot of time out there. So I called myself trying to find a remedy as well. I wait till everybody get in bed, then I go outside in the garage, right? But what I was doing, I was spending a lot of time out there, and so I wasn't getting a whole lot of sleep and had to get up and
he
go
was
to
getting
work the next
zero
day.
sleep.
And then when Keisha would say something, I would be like, "You just don't want me out here doing something I like to do."
He was just so grumpy because he
I
hadn't
was like-
slept for days.
And I was like, that's what I like to do. That's my outlet. But it was my outlet for excessive time. And so what happens? Well, I'm gonna tell you, this is what happened to me on both scenarios. As the hope is, even in marriage, is that we continue to bond and grow together and mature
That's right.
and understand, dwell together according to knowledge, understand each other as mates, and really start working more toward what are the needs, and then divvy out into the wants. That's the way I see it. Instead of the wants and needs, like you work hard now, and you get the foundation going, and it'll help things out later as you sacrifice your time. So what I figured out that I had to do was I had to balance my time better, so I can make sure I help her with the kids, help with dinner, help with baths, and then work the time in on the stuff that I wanted to do. Because I used to think, "You just don't want me out here because I'm doing it." But then what I found out though was when I started to be more helpful and I started to help with the kids, then when I wanted to do these things, it wasn't a problem.
And that's when I would go out and check on him because I wasn't, birthing babies and washing dishes and baking cakes and school lunches. And,
Well, it's interesting that
Yeah.
Derek says that because when Frank and I first got married, he's a fisherman. He is not even a fisherman, he's an angler. And when we first got married, well, before we got married, he told me I love to fish. And I was like, cool,
Just so you know.
I'm good with that. But I would say, he'd say, "Babe, I'm going fishing." I'd say, "Okay. Do you know what time you might be home?" "Oh, no later than 2. I said, "Okay." So wives, how we are.
we're ready for you too now.
1:45. I'm like, in about
He
15
busy,
minutes,
y'all
he ought to be
showing
pulling up.
Hey, Daddy's
So
coming home.
when we first got Dad's coming home. We first got married at 2, 3, 4,
They were biting.
5, 6, and then I'm calling, but he's in this area that's low service, so my texts aren't getting through, my calls aren't getting through.
You happy about
Then he comes home 5 or 6 hours, seriously, 5 or 6 hours late, and I am livid, like the house is not a safe place for him.
It is
Like,
unsafe.
don't
Am I
come
telling the
home
truth?
now.
Danger.
And
Danger.
so
It's a danger.
then, after that happened a couple of times, and I had such a fit about it, what he thought the best solution was, "I'm just done fishing.
I'll never fish
I'm
again.
done fishing because this
But
wife
not
I got don't want me to fish."
I'm gonna quit fishing.
And so I did, but that's not what I wanted.
Right.
Fishing
I
school
wanted him to fish.
Right.
I just didn't see. If you tell me to,
That's right.
and I
Or
learned.
call me and say, "Baby, they biting."
They're biting.
Ooh, they
And
biting.
then I'm going to make some adjustments because I can do other things.
Yes.
And so it took us a while for him to understand that it wasn't that I didn't want him to do it. It was that I wanted him to balance the time. And I wanted him to be a man of his word. If he said it, and if things change, just let me know. So, perhaps you and your husband can have a talk about the boundaries and the expectations and meet somewhere in the middle. And it's important to know that it's not really you against your husband.
That's right.
Right.
It is
Right.
you and your husband against this issue that is causing a problem in your marriage.
That's right.
Right.
Because you're on the same side. We're on the same side. I ate fish he cooked today that he caught
Right.
Friday. I'm good with fishing.
But I only fish 45 minutes.
Hey, but you're clearly a good fisherman. You got something.
Yeah, so you got to remember that you all are still partners. You're still on the same team.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. All right.
That's good. I think finding balance.
Absolutely.
Well, let me go back. Having a conversation. You
Yes.
mentioned
An
that.
honest,
Let's-
respectful
Right.
conversation.
I think sitting down. Let's talk about our family. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the kids. Who has to be here? What we got going on today? What we got. Let's put it all on paper. Let's just take a look at it. And let's look at the time we get up and the time we go to bed and the things that need to be done.
Right.
Yes.
You know, because in my mind, I'm thinking, just as I thought with the other situation with the cars, I had to determine within myself. It's like I knew what was needing to be done, but I had to have a change of heart to recognize and acknowledge that I played a part in helping with the balance.
Yeah.
I had to do my part, even if it's one thing I can't work on it today. I gotta wait till Saturday morning. If I gotta get up at 6 o'clock and work to 8, we're about to get up. Then that's it.
Yeah.
If I gotta get up sooner to do it, then that way, when my wife needs me or my kids need me, I can be there to answer the call. And then what my hobbies and things that are not really, in my opinion, a necessity to life, could just have to wait, and then I get to them when I get to them.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think,
good.
that's what I had to do. So, Cooper, what do y'all think will be some take homes or some things that they can try and do or some solutions?
Well, for me, it's really about, it seems like maybe he replaced alcohol with gaming, if that's the case, if he has this addictive personality. So he has to replace it with something else, maybe something positive. Maybe she can bring something to the table, like let's have family night. Let's play games this night. Let's do this that night. And don't be, I would be leery about not continuously dating. There has to be a date night for the two. So if the intimacy is gone to where they're not really kissing, holding hands, and things like that, that has to come back into the forefront as well. So,
And I think that has to
date
come
nights.
first.
Yes.
And that's one thing that
Before children.
before everything, I think before you can have your best conversation, I think you also have to have your best intimate moments as a couple. I think the ear listens better when it's well loved and well cared for,
Yes.
on an intimate and personal level.
Absolutely.
And I know a lot of times as wives, we want to, love on you once you've
Have done something.
lovable. But as wives,
earn it.
you got to start with the love. And the other things, the other really does come. Men really do operate the opposite direction. They really do.
Let me add something. You made me think about something. You did too about gaming one night. So you can acknowledge that this is what he likes to do because it's something that he likes to do, and within that incorporate it into a family night. Let's all play.
Yeah.
Let's all play games, and then that way he won't feel like he's being stripped completely of anything he likes to do, and that it's just the worst thing ever. But yet incorporate it, and then also communicate the need to say, we acknowledge you like this. We'll do it with you. But here are some things that I need too.
Right.
That I need to be done for our family to
Right.
be healthy.
Because it's not unhealthy. I mean, oranges are healthy, but if I hit you with a bag of them, it's going to hurt. All things in moderation.
Duration, right.
It's not for your face. And I will say this, and this is really my confession. I was waiting to see what you were going to say was the thing that happened with you. But I actually was really praying and mindful about how we could work past that in our marriage with all the time spent with the cars and all of that. What I actually started doing for Derek very early in his marriage is I was really trying to think of what is something I wouldn't mind him doing for a lot of hours. And so that just resonated in my heart. So I actually started buying him tools. And I would buy him, here's a ridge stick. Here's some plaster. I wonder what you can do with that. So I started really investing, and it was very difficult, and Derek does, I don't know that Derek knows this, but I started taking away from grocery money and money that I had that was kind of my part of the budget, and saving money so I could buy him tools without him knowing. And so I continued to buy tools for him, and I would buy the smallest saw that I could afford until I could then progress up. And I continued to do that. Now, he was a not good carpenter for some years.
Right.
But
About
I
6
kept
months.
buying him better tools.
That's 6 months.
About 6
We
months.
did.
Boy, I said it was
There was some hole in walls and some crooked, there was some crooked baseboards, but I kept encouraging him, and I kept getting those tools because for me, I felt like he clearly needed an outlet, and he was a guy that liked working with his hands. He wanted to be engaged in something that he could call his own, really. And so, but I just really kind of had to pray about what is something again that I wouldn't mind him being engaged in. And so now he, built this huge deck for me, which I hope he embeds some pictures in, and really has made this studio. And so I just really feel like he's still investing that time in things he loves. It's just things that we can all
Benefit
get on
the whole
board.
family.
And it benefits
That's
the
good,
whole
Keisha.
family. And so it wasn't a remote control car that I had.
You saw it here first.
So I would encourage you to do that. So just think about something that would be maybe a wiser investment that you can really get behind, and getting behind him is going to make him do it more. And that's what we've learned.
That's
and,
good.
and as I have different ideas, because I gave him another idea the other day for a project, and so he gets fired up.
Secret project. I'll tell you about
Yeah,
it.
so again, it's still a replacement. The reality is when we get away or do away with something, the heart oftentimes does want to replace it with something else.
Yeah.
We just have to be really strategic about what we replace it with.
Yeah.
And so that was something that was important to me, that it's fun that we could talk about this because I
Yeah.
never shared that.
That's
But
good.
that's when I first started
Wow.
buying tools.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. You all right, ain't you? I thought you trying to kill me. You all right. But no, what y'all think? What y'all think would be something for him to consider, something that'll help this couple get moving forward?
Get your ticket and leave. No, just kidding.
Get your ticket.
No.
No, please, no. I think it's good. At the Culpeppers said they had a conversation. Like I said, you got to have a conversation, but also you could gradually start. If you don't want to just join in and start letting the kids join in with him, and because you're gonna need some me time. So okay, they're yours now. So I'm going to have some alone time, and maybe once that start happening, and then just start looking for, like you said, games that the whole family can play.
Mm-hmm.
And then certain games he want to play, you give him certain time that he can play his games. I mean, where you discuss it, because you can't just tell him he can do it. But you get games that you all can do, educational games. And and you be helping the kids, and also y'all be spending family time together. And like you said, you're going to have that quality time, that one-on-one. You're going to have to have that time in order to get things healthy. And that once you do that, and you can find yourself again, find something you like doing. And then, and say, well, look, okay, we can play this for a while, but now we need to play this game that I like, or either this documentary that my wife like watching all the time. I really didn't like documentaries, but now I like them because she watches.
Right.
Hey,
All the time.
I spend time with her. Sometimes she'll go out back and just sit back there with me fishing. She might laugh at me if I miss a fish and catch one, but she's back there, and that's what counts.
That's right.
That's
right.
That's right.
That's good.
That's really good, because as couples, our goal is to strive together to be as one.
Yes.
Right? We get married, we become one, and we continue to get closer and closer. Y'all ever see those couples that's been married a long time and they start talking alike?
And
you
look
feel
alike.
each other
They look alike.
They look alike, they walk alike. They know each other so much
Yes.
because they've intertwined over the years and have really become one.
Yeah.
And so you get to know, you dwell together according to knowledge, as I mentioned earlier, and you know what pushes the other one's buttons, and you know what the other one's need, and you try to meet a need before it becomes a need.
Yeah.
You try to find a solution before things become a problem.
But sometimes the problems come, and that's where you become oneness too. Don't
Yeah.
run from it, run to it. Because there's something better going to come out on the other end of it. If you're going down that valley, the only way, like Pastor said, is up. So you don't run from the challenges, face them.
Yes.
Face them now, because it'll
Face
strengthen
them
your
together.
marriage
Yes.
down the line.
It will.
Yeah,
It will.
That's it.
Well, this
That's
has been great. We are so
Good night,
thankful for
ladies.
this question.
Wow.
Yeah.
for our guest, our panel for today.
And as Derek pointed out, if you have a question that you'd like to submit to us, we would love for you to share that question. We've got the information on the screen, or you can email us questions for us to review and then share. We hope to invite lots more friends, and so continue to watch us. You never know who will be a guest.
That's right. And be sure, ladies and gentlemen, to check out our sponsor, the Baby Spot Digital Global Parenting Magazine, for all of your parenting resources and needs that are there to help empower you and help you be a better mother, a better father, and a better couple. All right? And be sure to follow us on YouTube. So, hey, guess that's it for this episode. We'll catch you next time, folks. Thank you for watching.